Hi everyone, this is AC Seraph here bringing you some advanced gameplay tips for Daymare 1998. I recently got really into this game via the Japanese release and got the platinum, and I learned a lot of interesting stuff as I was doing it that I think will be useful to everyone as they're starting out, given that the game kind of just came out worldwide recently. This is my first gameplay tip video that I've ever done, so it's probably going to be pretty rough, but hopefully you can bear with me and learn some useful information. So I'm just going to jump ahead. We're going to be going near the end of chapter 3, and I'm going to show you some things that I've learned that'll be useful really throughout the game. So just give it a second here. Now, these strategies were made for the Daymare difficulty mode specifically. Obviously they're going to be useful in the lower modes as well, but just so you know, this is playing on Daymare mode right now, so no matter what difficulty you're on, this stuff is going to be useful to you. So the first thing we're going to talk about as soon as the game loads up is the reloading system in this game, which I think is kind of misunderstood. A lot of people think it's a real pain in the ass, the way the magazines work, and you have the quick loading and the slow loading, and you have to go to the menu and dump bullets in the individual magazines. And yeah, I think the game kind of fails to really explain all the options you have regarding reloading, but you can really make your life a lot easier if you know some of this stuff. So really quick, I'm going to explain that. So it really just applies to the handguns. Obviously the shotgun loads in a normal way. So you can see, looking at my handgun now, I've got 6 bullets in there, and I don't have a magazine on me at all. And the reason for that is because magazines are, for the most part, actually pretty useless for the handgun in this game. They mostly just waste your inventory space, because what the game never tells you is that you can actually just reload directly from your menu. You just open the menu, click on your box of ammo, click combine, and then if you hit square, you'll go to your guns, and then click on your gun, and boom, you've reloaded your handgun. Just like that. It's a really small thing, but it's really useful. It saves a lot of time throughout the game, and it's just a lot less of a pain in the ass. The magazines are really only useful for boss fights, or when you're going to be fighting a lot of enemies at once and you need to be able to reload quickly. That's really the only time I would ever use them. Otherwise they just sit in my inventory the whole time. So I really recommend that you just get used to reloading via the inventory screen like this. Just make sure you plan ahead. Because remember that if you don't have a magazine, there's no way to reload other than opening your inventory, so you don't want to be doing it in the middle of a fight. But if you're smart about how you play, you're not going to need to do that anyhow. Okay, so the second big tip that I want to talk about is actually the melee system used in Daymare 1998. I think a lot of people probably just immediately write it off because it seems really useless at the start of the game. If you press R2, just with nothing else, you'll get your little pistol whip animation here, and it takes a good chunk of your stamina. I think you have enough stamina that you can do, I think, 2 attacks in rapid succession, and then your stamina will recharge like this. Now, if you hit a zombie or anything really with this, they'll kind of just get stunned for a second, and then you can run by them. And I think that's about as much as anyone figured out for the melee attacks at the beginning. But actually, there is a way to consistently knock down enemies using melee if you know what you're doing. And you also need to kind of learn the spacing for melee and what's good for what enemies and what's not. So first thing to understand is that the pistol whip melee is actually pretty useless, and the melee used for the shotguns, or in Leave's case the rifle, is a lot more useful because it goes a lot further forward, and it seems to have sort of a more extended hitbox for the enemies. So what you do is you just kind of stand your ground. I would typically always keep my shotgun equipped no matter what, even if I'm not planning to kill enemies with it. Stand your ground, and we're going to have a little fast zombie out here that you'll see right away. If I just wait for him and let him come to me, if I hit him twice in rapid succession with my melee, it will guarantee a knockdown. So 1, take a quick step forward, hit him again, and he's down. This is guaranteed on all of the zombies and these fast zombies in the entire game. If you do it properly, it will always knock them down, and it actually keeps them knocked down for quite a while, as you can see. By the time he gets up, my stamina is actually already recovered, so I can just do the same thing again. Now, on these guys, it's actually really easy to keep them down the whole time, and that's because the startup on your melee attack with the shotgun is actually a lot faster than the startup on his slash attacks, so you're always going to win out. If he walks in front of you, you just hit him twice. The reason this is really useful, especially on Daymare mode, is because these fast zombies can take a lot of bullets to put down, but in reality, if you're not afraid of them, the truth is they're pretty much harmless. They're one of the weakest enemies in the entire game. I mean, look at this poor bastard. I just keep knocking his ass back down. He's not a threat at all. If you just really want to kill him, or you're playing normal mode where it just doesn't really matter that much, you have a lot of ammo anyhow, typically I would just knock them down. And I think generally it takes about 4 shotgun shells to the head after they're down to kill them. So we'll just get him with 2. So he might get back up. If you want to be really conservative about the ammo, you can just do 2, knock him down again, 2 more. Practice it a little bit, and you'll get used to it. And then these guys, they won't bother you anymore, and it'll make your life a lot easier. Now, you can kill them, but there is a much better strategy for them. So what I would usually do is actually just leave them somewhere where they're not going to bother me anymore. So I'll let him sort of follow me, and I'm just going to kite him over to this room. Now, there's a lot of situations in the game like this, where there's some area that you don't need to go to again, or like a room, or that you don't need to go to. If you lure a zombie, be it one of these fast ones or even just a normal zombie, into a room, like my save point here, and you knock him out, and then you leave the room, and you walk far enough away from the door that the door closes, which should have already done it. At this point, he's actually trapped in there. He can't do anything. So I didn't waste any ammo, and he's just there. Not going to be bothering anybody. None of the zombies in this game can open doors, so once you've trapped them somewhere, they're effectively, like, dead to you. Maybe don't put him in your save room, but, you know, whatever. He's a wuss. I don't care about him. So we're going to move on to another area, and I'm going to show you a little bit more about how to get the most out of these melee attacks in this game. Alright, so just bear with me. So when we go here, we're going to get another one of the fast zombies that I sort of just left here on his own. Again, for the most part, if you don't have to kill it, don't. That's especially true of the bigger enemies. The zombies in this game, it might be hard to believe, but the zombies are actually the biggest threat. They're the most dangerous enemies. They're the hardest ones to get proper melee attacks on. So I really, really recommend killing them if they're sort of in a place where you're going to be passing through quite often. So again, we got another one of these guys. And this guy, just so he doesn't bother us, I'm going to go ahead and kill him. So, 1. That should be enough. Usually, oh, no, it's not. There we go. So he took 5. But anyhow, he's out of our way now. So I left a zombie over here, and actually I left a melted man over here too, so hopefully it won't bother us too much. But I'm going to show you how to deal with zombies. So you can see she already saw me. She's coming to us. Let's come on. We don't want to bother the melted man. Okay, so I'm going to show you some melee with the zombies. Now the zombies are a lot more dangerous because their grab attack has huge range, and it actually prioritizes your melee attack if it's in range. So like if they're both hitting, if your melee frames are not yet active, you will get grabbed every time. And actually the active frames on a melee attack are really short, so you have to kind of perfectly time the melee attacks. The way I would do that is I would let her walk into it, and you do it a lot earlier than you would think. So right about now, and you'll hit her and run up and hit her again. It's the same with all enemies in this game. You have to hit them twice to knock them down with a melee. It doesn't work if you only hit them once. And if you only hit the enemy once and then you don't run up and hit them again quickly, it will also not knock them down. If they recover, it's not going to knock them down. So the safest way is to let them walk into you, but if you want to be aggressive, you can actually kind of run into them as well and do it. So 1, 2, and knock her down. Now, the melee attack actually does a very small amount of damage, enough that if you were to play easy mode, it's actually possible to kill enemies with the melee attack, but in Daymare and normal, you can't really use it offensively. So this is how you would deal with zombies in this game. So rather than shooting them as they walk at you, missing a lot and, you know, then getting grabbed because they get too close, knock them down and put 2 shots in their head and then wait. As you can see, she got back up, but they don't all. There's actually 2 types of zombies in this game on the Daymare difficulty. There's the weak zombies and the strong zombies. It just turns out that she's a strong one. They die in either 2 shots to the head with the handgun or 4 shots to the head with the handgun. So there she is. She's done. So what you'll do to make sure that you don't ever waste any of your ammo and use it the most efficiently is you just knock the enemy down, shoot them twice in the head, wait around a sec, see if they get back up. If they do, just knock them down again, put 2 more bullets in the head, it's done. Consistent every time. I don't really recommend even wasting time with the hollow point bullets because it seems that just damage-wise, the standard bullets are more efficient, really. If you're fighting enemies and letting them kind of walk at you as you're shooting at them, then hollow point's better. But the way that I do it with the melee, you're much better off just using your standard ammo. It's just more efficient as far as your resources are concerned. And so that's how you deal with zombies in this game. It works on every zombie in the game. The only thing you need to watch out for is that if you have more than 1 enemy on you, you really only have enough stamina to knock down 1 enemy. So in that case, you might be in a situation where you would knock down 1 enemy, maybe shotgun the other one, and then go deal with the one that you knocked down first. But even that way, you're still going to be, you know, saving a lot of ammo. So the last guys we want to talk about, which I left one over here, is the Melted Man. So you can see him hanging out over there. And if you have played Daymare difficulty, you will know that these guys are a massive pain in the ass. Because they take a huge amount of bullets to kill. So you can see he's seen me. So how do you deal with the Melted Man? Well, the plan is, well, don't. Just don't deal with the Melted Man. I mean, look at how slow this guy is. He can't do anything to me. So when they only have 2 attacks. They have the attack you just saw where he spits at you, which has a really obvious tell. If they stop, they're going to spit at you. So strafe left. See, he's stopping. I'm strafing left. Boom. He can't hit me. He's done. Okay. He might look scary. He's not. He's not actually much of a threat unless there's other things around. So you know, just run around him and try not to mess with him because you're just going to waste a ton of ammo otherwise. So you can strafe to dodge that. He also has a melee attack which you can actually bait out and then just run backwards, and it will always miss. So the melee attack is also pretty much not a threat. As long as you don't walk yourself into a corner, you're fine. They're also really easy to just straight up run past, as you can see here. You know, you can run past him, you can strafe around him, you can bait the melee attack and run backwards. The point is, he's not dangerous. Now, there's a chance that he'll do that attack that he just did. If that happens, you're kind of just out of luck. The range on it is really huge, and it's pretty much going to hit you every time. So, you know, that sucks. Now, for fighting these guys, if you really want to fight them, basically you want to aim for those little, the little green pus-looking blobs on him. I would actually probably just shotgun him a few times, but make sure that you don't get the kill shot with the shotgun, because if you do, he'll explode, and it does a lot of damage to you if you're close range. So again, kind of in normal mode or easy mode, it's not really an issue, but in this mode, I really just I just don't recommend fighting them at all if you can avoid it. You have one fight in the game where you have to fight a Melted Man. That's with Sam. For him, I would just go off with the shotgun, go wild on it as you strafe around like I'm showing you with the dodges here, and then yeah, just eat the hit at the end and pop a heal. That's probably the most efficient way to deal with it. Otherwise, yeah, just don't mess with them. You can always lead them somewhere where they don't bother you. Like in this area, you know, there's a good chance you might want to go explore over this way without being bothered. So, you know, just get him to follow you for a while and leave him somewhere and then just run away. You're so fast that he'll actually just give up. So you can just bring him wherever you want to bring him and then leave him to his own devices for a while, play by himself. Okay, so that is how you deal with the Melted Man. So I'm just going to leave him there. Like I said, he's not really a threat to us, so we're going to leave him alone. And then the final kind of advanced tip for how to deal with this game, and I don't have full health right now. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to reload the previous save. And I'm going to show you just how to deal with the mutated Hades operatives that you will encounter in the late game. These are really boss fights, but it is good to know how to deal with them because this is one of the harder points of the game. Now, the things to know, you're going to need ammo. They take a lot of damage. Like, there's no avoiding that. But there is a pretty good way to deal with them. We're going to wrap this video up. Okay, so really quick, just make sure you bring the stuff you need. For fighting these guys, typically keep a stack of shotgun shells on you, and bring along your Magnum fully loaded. You don't need to bring anything else really. If you know what you're doing, you can actually beat this without taking damage pretty easily. So you can leave everything else behind. So that you're not wasting. I would bring your handgun just because you'll be using those in the next chapter, so just bring it with you. So anyhow, we're just gonna go and fight him right now. And our friend should still be out here, so we're just gonna knock him down and move along. So, 1, 2, and he's down. Poor guy. I kind of feel bad for those guys. They are really weak. I'm just going to kind of jog up here real quick before he gets back up. So before you start this fight, go ahead and switch to your Magnum, because that is what we're going to mostly be using in the kind of neutral parts of the fight. And of course, Sam will also have a fight with this type of enemy, but in his case, he only fights one, and it's at the end of the game where you have a ton of ammo, so you can just kind of have fun with it and go wild on them. But for these two, you need to be a bit more careful, because there's quite a bit more to go for poor Raven here. And so what we want to do is actually knock them down with the Magnum. It takes exactly 2 shots to knock one of these guys down with the Magnum, so you're going to knock down both. That's the first thing you want to do. So knock down both. 1, 2, and 1, 2. Switch to your shotgun immediately, go to the first one you knock down, go behind him, where these yellow things are, and just unload on him everything you can get. You can probably get everything off on him, actually. Okay, once you go 0 on the shotguns, you need to back off, and you're going to want to just kind of run around the arena as you load up your shotgun all the way to full. Once we've done that, we're going to switch back to the Magnum, and then get a little distance between you guys first so you don't take damage. You can dash around to do that. If they're running at you, I recommend you just keep running around until they stop. Okay, once they stop, 1, 2, knock him down. 1, 2, knock him down. And we're gonna repeat the process one more time. Okay, 2, 3. Okay, he's getting up kind of fast. Not much we can do about that. So if they get up like that, I just recommend go ahead, reload your shotgun, and get ready to just do the whole process again. Okay, so we reloaded. Just run away. You can hear him missing. If you run straight, you're not weaving around too much, then it's gonna work. So 1, 2, and actually, if you noticed, I don't actually have enough Magnum bullets to knock this other guy down, right? So what am I gonna do? Well, luckily for you, our friends over at Invader Studios happened to put a 50 AE magazine right here. So just grab it in the middle of this fight, do a quick reload, and don't forget to grab your expended magazine sometime later after the fight. And now we got another set of bullets, so we're just gonna do it again. Okay, so again, he's running at me, so don't stop. Wait until they're not running. So 1, 2, and 1, 2. Okay, switch to shotgun. I'm gonna keep going. 1. Okay, he's dead. Let's go ahead and move to the other one. And they're both dead. See? Done. No damage. No problem. Super easy. Alright, so thank you guys for sticking around for this video. Hope you liked it. Hope you found some useful information and useful techniques as you pursue your clear of this awesome game. And that's it. So have a good one. Good luck with your clear.